trying to give you a good lead-in for the music. You're right. I shouldn't come in the studio. It's your show. I start barking demands about when you should start and what you should be doing.
I'm messing it up. I'm going to leave all this.
Don't bang my girlfriend. That's all I ask.
Moot point, an issue which no satisfactory answer is found.
This is all a moot point.
The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf! Ma, the meatloaf!
Like a cow's opinion.
I've had it with this dump! We got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
This is all a moot point. Doesn't matter.
Yo, everybody, what up? Welcome to the Moot Points podcast. Brian was staring at me and threw me off. We'll never get it right.
That was so
and
smooth.
I always just start with yo.
No, that was so smooth. You nailed it.
That was pretty good.
You really nailed it.
You sound so condescending.
No. I'm being serious. I was waiting to hear how you would address, like, the show open. We're letting Nirvana have their moment. They can have the floor. I think Kurt Cobain. I think he earned that. By the way, happy 52nd birthday 2 days ago to Kurt Cobain. I only know that from Twitter.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter. I'm not like a weird fan. I mean, I am a weird fan.
You're a weird fan.
I love Nirvana. They were one of my favorites. Nirvana was a game changer in my life.
It's true.
By the way, this is
and our
Moot.
haircuts.
Oh, wait. What is this, Pat?
This is the Moot Points podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Moot, here tonight with my brother, as always, Brian Moot.
Hey, guys. Sorry for that derailment, but listen, it was good, man. You know, you're really getting...
I literally went, yo, what up? Welcome to the Moot Points podcast, and then made eye contact with you and stopped.
I know.
I could see the look on your face.
You were like a deer in the headlights.
You were already ready to trample.
Okay, but let's talk. You know what? I've got topics. I've got a phone full of thoughts.
Do you really? Okay, good. Because I haven't really you kind of like come in and out. Like I didn't realize you were here. I just walked by and then I saw you outside, standing there on the phone. And I was like, you could have been there for 45 minutes.
I was there for about 10.
Okay.
Well, I was on the phone though, so I felt like
this guy's hard to nail down. He did this to me last night too. We were maybe going to podcast, and then I show up.
But then you know what? I'm a good influence on you because then I said, you know what, Pat? Let's get out of the house. Let's go watch a basketball game
at a bar.
Let's go to a bar. Let's just have a couple drinks. Keep it reasonable. Nothing big. Then I went and did a comedy show. Man, I crushed it last night. I rarely say that.
Wow.
Kind of thing.
He does rarely say that,
but. The two comics in front of me had a weird interaction. That's my wheelhouse right there.
How'd they get in a weird interaction?
So you know me, we've performed a lot together. Mm-hmm. And when things are weird, that's when that's game time for me.
I don't know how that works because if things are weird, that's when I quit.
Yeah.
Things don't even have to be weird and I will picture them getting weird and that will weird me out enough to not want to do the show in general. When something like that happens before me, I'm eating.
See, man, that's
I'm eating
where
an S sandwich like Joel Byers is backstage.
Oh, he's still mad at Joel Byers. Joel Byers will never hear. Pat will never be done with his hatred of Joel Byers.
I don't hate him.
You just wish poor things upon him.
No, he was just overly sensitive.
He was a jerk too.
He acted like
that's like my wheelhouse though. That's why I love the shows we do together. By the way, we are going to be booking shows in Atlanta in May, June, July, and August. It'll be like 1 weekend a month.
Yeah.
We'll drag Patty Pat out to the East Coast, and we'll do Lawrenceville. We'll be up in Marietta. We'll be out in Duluth.
Beautiful Duluth.
Potentially.
Love it.
Decatur.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't do Decatur last time.
No.
I think we should do Decatur.
Where's that place with the winery that you did?
City Winery.
Greece. No, Greece.
Oh, Serenby?
Yeah, we gotta rip Serenby someday.
Beauty school dropout.
Don't do that, please.
No graduation day for you. Don't mute me, please. Yes. I thought you were going over there to press that button. You got button power. Serenby. Put that on the things to talk about first. Or we'll talk about that in a second. I've got a lot of things. Now, you know what?
I'm like sitting here not doing anything with my hands, and you're like, put it on the list. It's like, are you talking to Bosworth?
I'm kind of like speaking it into existence. So right now, the list includes Nirvana and bands that influenced your life early on. We've also got Serenby, why Serenby is weird. Yeah, I mean, these are things that I'm finding now. I have a list of other stuff too. Okay. I've got stuff.
You've got lists.
I've got plenty to talk about.
Oh my god.
And then also, but let's start with why I thrive when it's weird. I thrive when it's weird. That's why I like it when you're on shows with me, Pat.
I gave you a little
transition. Make it weird.
I made it weird with an awkward What is this Wu-Tang transition for your...
I don't think you've ever made it not weird. I don't think you've had a normal show. That's probably why you don't think you thrive when it's weird, because you've never had it normal. We once had a show...
I roll in there and just make it weird, yeah.
We once had a show where Pat did not know there was a second show. I'm not sure how that's possible, considering the poster had 2 times on it. But apparently, it's my fault.
Looking at the poster for the show that I'm in?
You should be. Were you on the poster? Oh, no, you weren't.
I don't think so.
It was just.
I looked at the poster and I was like, oh, 2 shows for a show with Brian.
First show with Brian. That's
so. I'm not on that one.
But hey, you know what though? It's not your fault. That's called real road comedy right there. What happened was you did the first show, you did great, and I told you, hey man, explore the space, have a good time, and you did a good job in the first show. And mind you, the first show I climbed out of a castle from the set of Hunchback of Notre Dame. It was in Lawrenceville at the Aurora Theater, and so I kind of set the tempo.
Sure.
For weird. Okay,
I also fell asleep in the backstage during your show between the 2 shows.
Between the second, well, you didn't know that. Okay, well, what happened was during my set,
falling asleep is a liberal use of the term falling asleep. I passed the F.
Well, so what happened was between shows, Pat and Max Fine, the comic opening for both of us on the show, was
love Max,
one of the greatest. Follow him, eating burgers on Instagram.
At eating burgers.
Eating burgers, this idiot. So. They between shows, someone in the crowd decided that and you know what? Bless their tailgating little hearts. They decided they were bringing in little tiny whiskey bottles. And you guys was this person a flight attendant? How did they have so many tiny liquor bottles?
I don't remember.
Either
it was that. It was okay. She had a couple tiny liquor bottles and then a water bottle full
of like vodka or something.
No, it was Jameson. So we just were back there and we just housed a bunch of Jameson.
Yeah,
God, and what was her name? I can't remember her name. We've talked about this story on the podcast before. I'm sure there's some people who are like, we know this stupid story.
No, but it's always funny. It's funny to remind people of I'm saying this to get into some other things.
Yeah.
But so he didn't know there's a second show. And the look on your face is priceless when I was like, all right, Pat, you're going to start that second show? And you're like, what are you talking about? And you're just hammered. And I'm like, oh, buddy, you got to start a show. So he goes out there. I look out on stage. I can't see him. He's sitting in the crowd.
Explore the space.
You were getting very liberal with your exploration endeavors.
It was pretty good.
It was funny.
No, you know what's a good part about sitting in the crowd while you tell jokes is if you tell a bad one, then you can heckle yourself.
You'd be like, boo. Did you do that?
I did. I definitely.
Oh, that's really funny.
Every joke that didn't hit. It was great. Anyways, I was like, this guy stinks, right? Like nudging the people next to me.
So I love it when it gets weird. So what happened was last night, this comic was getting off stage. She was singing a song, and it was called "Find the Clit." Right.
This already sounds. I'm already backing away from the show in my head.
Why?
Because
the clitoris that's a medical terminology. That's biological.
I just don't.
Why are you uncomfortable?
Because because I know it makes someone else uncomfortable.
Do you not like when people say penis?
Not on stage.
Clitoris.
I made a movie about making my penis bigger.
Yeah,
it makes me
totally fine with all these medical.
I don't like it when other people talk about this stuff.
All right, listen. Anyway, she had a song about how guys can't find the clitoris. And
can they really not?
I don't know.
Is that a real thing? Or is that just a thing that girls say?
Let me get into it.
Because I feel like it's so easy to find. And I'm not bragging.
You're such a jackass. It's not
like the whole apparatus isn't that complicated.
Look at this guy over here. Now I found his wheelhouse. We got a sexual stallion over here who just has a homing beacon on his finger for the clitoris.
Boom. Open and shut case. I mean,
listen.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
I do. I know
Pat,
where
but not every vagina is the same. Vaginas are like fingerprints. Okay,
right. Fiddle around, you'll figure it out.
And that's what I'm saying. We just flick stuff. You flick and rub. Be gentle. Okay, and yeah, you're right. If you just kind of rummage around down there, you'll find something.
It is it's a two-way street though too, because there's one of those times where it's like it's like when you find it, it's nice when they're like, yeah, right there.
Yeah, of course. Give me a little direction.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Because otherwise, like, I'm gonna just keep rubbing stuff.
No, you're gonna fumble around down there like you're in Bird Box.
Not even part of my vagina.
The Bird Box challenge down there. I don't know what I'm rubbing. That's my butt.
Yeah.
Anyways, the point is this.
Does it feel good? You got to tell me.
So she's doing this weird. So she kind of closes awkwardly. And the comic that's hosting the show is just high out of his mind. And he told me that. He's like, yo, dude.
Like on weed?
Yeah, he's like,
so what?
No, hold on. Okay. Let me get to it. Don't.
Weed.
You get into
Dork.
weed. You get into weed defense mode real fast, dude.
I just don't like it when people.
No.
I was high. It's like on what?
No.
Like on heroin?
Okay, get into it.
It's not heavy drug, Brian.
Jesus, man. Did somebody, as you smoke a joint on the podcast, you only have, about 60 days left of C-card weed smoke, and then you just got to go back to recreational drug use, you junkie.
Brian, it could be for depression after this.
No one ever said I want to be a junkie when I grow up.
I actually thought the junkies were kind of cool. Like, I like the baggy sweatshirts and the, ripped Henleys and
to be fair,
dirty jeans.
When they did those crap commercials about junkies, they didn't make them look like they should have, which is like strung out meth addicts.
It was always like a hot guy with a beard. It was like a hot guy with a little stubble who was like all sweaty.
And he had a tracksuit on.
Yeah, it's like you still look like the.
This guy looks pretty cool, man.
He looks
like an off-season quarterback.
Yeah.
So
he had a rough season.
So he's getting off. She's getting off. Oh, let me go back to why we got into drugs all of a sudden. So what happens was he tells me, he goes like, "Yo, dude,
great."
He goes, "I am so stoned." He's like, "I'm really sorry, but like I got really high because I haven't left the house. I just had a daughter. Like he's got 3 kids, right?
Jesus.
He's got 3 kids.
Save it for the stage.
He's got 3 kids. No, he was apologizing to me because he's like, there's a good chance I forget all of your intro and just call you Brian. And I'm like, whatever, man, that's fine. But he goes, listen, man, I don't want to use excuses, but like I'm a dad now and I have 3 kids and I never smoke weed anymore. And my buddy picked me up and he was like, smoke. And I'm like, I don't have to be back for like 6 hours. My wife is handling the kids. And he's like, and I am like drooling on myself. He's like, I can't function.
Get high after the show. What did this guy?
He just hasn't smoked in a long time.
He's like rookie.
Why?
That's
Okay,
like,
now why
that's
are you?
That's a rookie comedian move and a rookie.
Why are you weed shaming this poor dad?
Because
this poor dad just wanted to get high with his
everybody
friend.
who smokes weed knows that if you haven't smoked weed in a while, it's like reset. It's like shaking an Etch-a-Sketch.
No, it's like riding a bike, isn't it?
No,
that's
it's not.
What it's like?
It's not like riding a bike. It's like riding a bike except like the wheels are pedals. Like it's not. You gotta refigure out the whole thing. Like. You're starting from the very beginning.
You got to put the bike together in the garage first.
Yes. Okay. You have to figure out every piece again.
Well, anyways, he's super high. So he goes on stage, and this lady closes awkwardly with a song about how guys can't find the CLIT. And they have a weird interaction where she's like, well, all I need guys to do is find the clit. Like, yells at him, and I was like, whoa. And
why'd she yell at him?
I don't know. She was like trying to get a laugh, so she just kind of yelled at him.
Was he still off stage or was?
No, he was on stage. They were doing like she was like, good night, everybody. And he's like, hey, give it up for, and I think he forgot her name probably was what happened. And she's like, wow, just find the clit. And I was like, whoa.
I would have talked about how he forgot your name.
Well, I
can't even remember my name.
Well, she yelled find the clit at him, right?
Yeah.
And so then I get on stage and I'm like, didn't that just sound like the most awkward like fight between a couple ever? Where she's like, and you can't find the clit as she leaves. And then the whole crowd, then it turned into, I was doing a 10-minute spot. It turned into me doing 7 minutes on like how guys can't find, like we don't know what we're doing. Except for Pat over here, the sexual Stallone.
I don't think you can't, I think that's a false, no, I'm going to
false narrative.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. CNN.
I think that's a false narrative.
False narrative.
See, this is why I don't like
news.
This is why I don't like comedians. I don't believe that you can't find the clit.
Hey, dude.
I don't believe it for a
I'm
second.
just saying.
You have a steady girlfriend who seems to be.
Yeah, but I know where hers is. Like, listen, I'm not saying.
It's not different every time.
It is different, man.
That's just a good thing to say on stage.
It's in the same.
That's such a comedian's
vicinity.
take.
No, sometimes you're flicking things that are just dangling out. Not even the clip.
Who are you hooking up with?
I mean, well, that's
good
weird.
God.
Men.
Did you tell her to get?
That's what I was hooking up with. A dude with a tiny wiener, and I thought it was just a giant. Giant. I feel like we're saying the CLIT word too much. Not if you're still listening.
I mean, I can't believe that there was a song this is why I don't like doing stand up because I would literally. It is because and then like the girl doing something about the girl singing a song about clits that I didn't like rifled you into a 7-minute spot about clits.
Oh yeah, man, because I don't believe they're always in the same place, man. I feel like every once in a while you got to realize. You want me to do like an infomercial?
Yeah, no, listen. This is just what I think of your whole take.
Oh. Well, this sounds nice. Watch. Yeah. Check this out. Pat's client.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta look for the clit.
No.
Rummage
I didn't want you to sing. God, Jesus, no rummaging
not
around.
in the same place on every woman, and sometimes it's upside down. Oh, clits are like fingerprints.
Stop. All right, music, stop.
Well, I was in a groove.
Because now literally her song about a clit has gone to you talking 7 minutes about a clit on stage and now singing again about it.
Yeah.
Do you see the ripple butterfly effect that this woman has created just by going on stage and being... Was it funny? Was the song that she sang even funny?
Not really, but guess what was funny? My rant was funny.
Okay, so we're 12 minutes... We're 15 minutes in, and we're talking about how you had a great set last night.
Yeah, man, I'm just telling... Well, I'm telling you, I thrive in chaos. As case in point, I thrive in chaos here. Hit me with a Patsy Cline. Watch me sing a clit song. Do it again. I dare you.
I wanted to listen to... I was playing the Patsy Cline for the crazy part.
Oh, you almost...
I was saying that because my hot take is that you saying that you can't find a clitter that it's hard is crazy.
No, it's just... I said it's not in the same place on every lady, man.
Usually you can tell, though. It's like playing Operation.
Look at this guy over here.
No, it's like playing Operation. When you hit the sides, its nose lights up. Like, you know, there's a reaction connected to...
I hate to break it to you, Pat, but... Apparently, you've just been with women who have perfectly sculpted nether regions, and I've been with some that had some creative looks.
Yeah, that's right. What do you got next on your list?
Some had a comb over.
Pull up your list.
We got the list from the opening of the
Some
show,
had a
man.
Comb over. Oh.
That's funny, right? Come on, man.
Yeah. What are we on? What are we talking about?
You know what I like about the shift?
We can't say the C word anymore for the rest of the show.
You know what I like about the shift of this show? The shift of the tone and vibe of the show is... I've now put you into the position of straight man on the show because you have to run all the buttons, and now I can just run rampant in the C world.
Ugh.
All right.
That word is making me feel... I literally feel nauseous. I'm sorry to everyone who's been listening, who's made it this far through the podcast.
I think we're on fire right now. I don't know.
It's good. This is unadulterated. People like the C word.
You brought up Serenbe. Okay, when I was singing Beauty School Dropout. That was a...
He was saying twice on this show already.
Beauty School
Dropout.
No,
that's not... That doesn't mean...
No graduation day for you.
I don't know if you've ever heard yourself
Beauties.
Say.
I am. I'm hearing my headphones and it sounds quite nice.
It's not.
No. Serenbe. It's a weird town. Serenbe, if you've been to Georgia, and a lot of you listening are from Georgia, and you know this, for some reason, the Atlanta area loves building these weird work, live, play communities that if you're a Walking Dead fan, you go to those communities and you're like, oh, shoot, this is Alexandria. Oh, my God. Like, you just build a fence around
You go
this.
there once it's, like, empty, and it's like...
Sure, but you just see, like, this is what it would be. Like, you just build a fence, and
my
God, we're at the Avalon.
There's already a wall around it. They already have a wall around it.
So Serenbe is, like, this weird, like, there's...
Isn't it old school, though?
There's some of it's old school and some of it's like but it's like these weird half-finished cul-de-sacs, and there's like a weird little downtown, and there's a farm. And the farm looks just like the Walking Dead farm where the dude Virgil has his leg cut off and all. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen season 1.
I've seen it all, and I've seen all of it, and I don't even remember who Virgil is.
That
shows the most forgettable.
You know what happened with...
They should call it the walking around, because that's all they do is they walk around and they find different stuff, and then they walk somewhere else and they find other stuff.
Every episode is, how are we going to find food? Who got bit? Who
I know.
Do we have to kill?
I know. It's just so stupid. Around.
You idiots do not know.
Stop. Just stay somewhere.
You guys have a goddamn fence.
Wandering around.
Stay behind your stupid fence, you idiots.
You'd think sooner or later they'd come across another city. Like, they've been wandering around for so long in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you've been to Atlanta. Where are they going to go? Macon? Macon, Georgia? What are they going to make it as? No, they've been.
Nashville?
I'm pretty sure that they shoot in Macon, and they didn't really have to change much.
They don't have to change anything. They're just like, hey guys, can you? Well, if you're going to walk in the background, can you limp, please?
Yeah.
We're shooting a shot with Rick right now.
Except for you, don't limp so much. That's too much limping.
Stop limping. You don't look like a zombie. Yeah. But it's funny because Georgia has these weird little pockets where a town is just like it's its own little weird like area, and Serenbe had a vibe of like kind of Walking Dead meets Get Out, where you're in this weird town, and you're like, do you guys like? Do you stay here all the time? What do you guys do?
There's a podcast called Up and Vanished, and it's literally about one of these towns, and this girl goes missing, and like how the entire town kind of like hid it for a long time, and the confession of this guy finally just came out. but it's really good. You guys should listen to it.
Oh, thanks, man.
You guys. I've been suggesting other podcasts.
Yeah, that's rock solid.
Listen, guys. We've been talking about clits. If you're tired of listening to clits, why don't you listen to Up and Vanish?
Hey, right now,
Tenderfoot TV.
If you click the link in the window right now, we will link over to another podcast.
Swipe up to listen to Up and Vanish.
Not about clits, zombies, and Nirvana.
Damn it! I totally said we weren't going to say the C word anymore. I opened.
Hit me with some bad music. Let's transition. Let's go. Or I'm going to say the C word again a bunch.
No.
Come on, do it. So earlier in the show, actually, so early it was the beginning of the show. I was, you know what? And I was thinking about this because it was Kurt Cobain's 52nd birthday. Honest question for you, Patrick Moote. Do you think Kurt Cobain would have aged well as this? Because right now he's a mythical, he's an enigma. He's like a legend because I think it's because he didn't age. Like he died at 27 years old.
You know what? For all the crap that's come off your list so far, this is good.
Yeah, right. This is a good one.
No, this is really good.
You know,
I mean, the drug use. You factor in the drug use and like.
Well, hey,
here's what I would say.
All right, go ahead.
I think that he probably would have ended up becoming sober at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably would, because you'd think the drug use would have weathered him out. One of those things, though, he didn't look. I mean, he was 27 when he died.
27 when he committed suicide.
Yeah.
But if you think about that, hold on 1 second. In 7 years, they became one of the biggest bands of all time. One of the most iconic bands of all time.
I mean, they created a genre.
If you look at Nirvana, right, they did. How often does that happen?
Not
like
often.
If you look at bands that will go down as mythical and game changing, it's Nirvana. Now, granted, Pearl Jam was there, but Eddie Vedder decided he was going to start doing yoga and stuff, and so he was like a healthy and survived. But Kurt Cobain went out in a blaze of glory. Man, he lived grunge.
Yeah. You know, I have this thing. I think he would have aged well. I think he would have been. I think he'd be really handsome right now. I think he'd be like a
but I don't. But here's the thing. I think if he ages well, Nirvana doesn't as an entity. You know what I mean? Like it almost is a thing. Like okay, so look at Elvis. I was going to say Elvis is one of those things. Elvis did not age well. People choose to forget the latter days of Elvis. Jesus, what are you doing? What the hell was that?
I don't know. That was some roster music.
Why are you doing
that? Was a technical difficulty.
Do you get bored with the conversation and just decide you're going to blow my eardrums out with Rasta?
I hit one button.
This is the most aggressive Rasta situation I've ever been
I know. When I hit
subjected
mute, too, it still didn't work.
You hit the wrong mute button.
It played through mute.
No, you hit a mute on a different channel. I'm looking at it from here. All right. No, my point is this. I think that like Aerosmith and some of those other rock bands, they aged well, but they didn't have the same kind of like energy and myth that Nirvana had. Like look at Motley Crue. They can't age well. Like those guys, I'm like those guys were like Nikki Sixx is being revived in an ambulance from heroin overdoses. Like while they were on tour.
Did Kurt Cobain smoke? Yeah, he smoked cigarettes.
He smoked cigarettes. He smoked heroin. He shot up heroin. Yeah. He did every drug. No, my point is, I was looking at it and I was thinking, like, man, Kurt Cobain at 52 is probably not cool. Like he just became 52. Like where he died is where we all look at Kurt Cobain, and now we're mystified by like his past because his past is super weird. There's super questionable stuff in his past. And
look at like Keith Richards is still alive.
Yeah, but he's like a weird old man. Like no one wants to see.
He's still a rock star. Like
he's not a rock. He's not the same.
He's still killing it. What? I saw him play live like 3 years ago.
But hold on.
And 3 years for him is nothing because he's like 95.
You may think I'm blaspheming against rock and roll from the 70s, but no one was a bigger rock star who lived it, did it. It was in him than Kurt Cobain. There's not
so
one.
Many people.
Name one. Name one.
Listen, I don't think our audience is gonna have a problem with this. I'm just saying if you posted that on like a rock blog, you would have a lot.
Well, I'm saying live the life.
Yeah, a lot of them.
That's why he's not around. But I'm saying like
well,
at
the
some
27 point, Club. There's so many people who are in that who died when they were like.
But I don't think any of them lit. Like Janis Joplin's in it.
Elvis,
Jimi Hendrix. Elvis is not in it. Elvis is in the 57 Club. Get the hell out of here, Fat Elvis. You forget that he just like had a heart attack.
I just always like figure his career ended after
Elvis died at like what? Yeah, nothing but a hound dog, like tapping his foot on stage on Johnny Carson. Yeah, that was when like he peaked. But that's exactly my point. Do you think Kurt Cobain, that we know at 27, if he's still alive, is Kurt Cobain, or he's like, ugh, Kurt Cobain, like he's weird? Now imagine this: Kurt Cobain.
I can't
is
believe
on
that
Twitter.
You think that,
is
I
on
can't
Twitter?
believe that you think that he would be. I think like aged well. Do you mean like in looks, or do you mean aged well in terms of like
all of it, mentally, just all the things? Do you think he would age well at all? I think Kurt Cobain.
I think
after
he'd
how
be
they
a
lit,
weirdo.
I think the music won. He died at the peak of grunge.
He was already a weirdo, though.
He died at the peak of grunge. Like grunge was never hotter than when he committed suicide. It was as big as it could get. I mean, they were playing 110,000 person venues in Rio de Janeiro. Like it was.
I don't know.
Massive.
I just don't. I think he would. Here's what I think. I think he would be a handsome hermit who still makes good music.
I don't know. You think he'd be Dave Grohl?
I don't think he'd be Dave Grohl because I don't think he'd be out there as much. But it just depends on what you mean by doing well. Like it doesn't because you're a hermit and because you're not out there like Dave Grohl's part of like a pop band.
Well, then why isn't
Foo Fighters is like do I think he'd be part of Foo Fighters? No.
Kurt Cobain?
Yeah.
No,
I don't.
If he didn't kill himself before Foo Fighters, he would have after.
Oh man. Hot take. That's a hot take.
Oh, you are the best, the best, the
I
best,
mean, yeah,
the
sure.
best there is.
He wouldn't be a part. He would not be a part of Foo Fighters. That's,
oh my God.
But I think he would still be making music, probably producing a lot of music.
Producing?
Sure.
You think Kurt Cobain is producing? I mean, like,
yeah, I think he'd want to work with other young artists and people who are going through the struggle like
Get
he
the
was.
hell out of here. The reason Kurt Cobain connected the way he connected with a generation of people who felt weird, who felt bullied, who felt estranged, felt like nobody understood them, was because where he was singing from, what he was doing was coming from a place of pure, honest, like despair and anger. And he wasn't punk rock for the sake of punk rock.
You don't
like
think
Dave
he would have
Grohl,
grown out of that?
No. I do
Dave
not.
Dave Grohl was like part of that.
Dave Grohl was a faker, and that's why he played drums. Dave Grohl was, I'll say it right here, Dave Grohl was a grunge faker who played the drums, and thank God we kept him there.
Hey, you're crazy. You don't think he'd still be making great music like this? You don't think?
Nah, no? Because he'd be rich, and the rich is what killed him.
That's possible.
Nah, I don't think he was ever meant to. I think some people are meant to rise and fall fast. I think Kurt Cobain's one of them. I don't think. I don't think he'd be the legend that he is.
I think part of the brilliance is what drove him to do.
Okay, let's say this. What if Kevin Spacey dies 5 years ago?
What do you mean?
Just say Kevin Spacey now versus Kevin Spacey. Let's say Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey dies now.
Let's say Kevin Spacey died 2 years ago.
2 years
before
so
all.
You're just
this.
saying before Kevin Spacey was. So you're
before
saying
you can have the downfall.
Somebody who falls at the height of it. Like Kevin Spacey, what would I say? Like, how did he die? How did Kevin Spacey die?
It doesn't matter. Let's just say you're dead.
He got hit by an airplane.
Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's suicide, overdose, whatever. When you die, Heath Ledger, right? When you die at the peak of your fame, we put you in a time capsule there, and we don't allow you to age. We don't allow you to become an old weirdo with Twitter. Like, we don't like.
But it sounds like you're assuming that everyone's going to become an old weirdo.
I think all rich people do, man. Name a normal rich person.
That is a bigger.
I think the biggest.
I don't know very many rich people, I don't know how can I can't
listen. Okay.
I think the perception may be weird, but just disappearing from the public eye doesn't make you a weirdo. It makes you normal.
No. I'm not saying disappear. I'm saying they don't disappear.
Like Johnny Depping out and like shooting somebody's ashes out of a cannon.
Johnny Depp is an insane person.
Well,
if Johnny Depp died right after the first Pirates of the Caribbean,
he might be really fun to hang out with.
Of course he'd be fun, but it has nothing to do with his health and his well-being and his being normal. He's an insane person. My point is this.
So money makes you crazy. You're being paid more than you've ever been paid in your life. My
behavior has gotten worse.
You're a little manic.
My behavior has gotten worse. With every raise I get, it gets a little weirder. Okay, it gets a little weirder.
Okay, fine. Then I agree with you.
I'm just saying.
I agree.
My greater point is this, okay? Like, the most amazing thing ever is that Bill Gates, for as rich as he is, has 0 Me Too accusations.
Ain't crazy.
Zero nothing.
No, he's not crazy.
Like, Jeff Bezos, there's going to be some weird stuff that comes out of Jeff Bezos. I'm calling it right here on the Moot Points.
There's already a dick pic.
I'm breaking news.
There's already a dick pic.
You know,
I heard they didn't pay tax on $11 million, but then again, I saw that in my Facebook feed, so I don't even know why I'm bringing it up. This just in on the Moote Points podcast. Pat saw something on
Patrick
Facebook
saw something trending
that may or may not be true.
Patrick saw that should be a new segment we should do. Headlines with Pat, where you do zero, you throw out the headline, and I'll fill in the news. But you're like, "Yo, I saw this today."
Yeah, I saw this thing. What were you gonna bug me about? There was something you were gonna bug me about.
I got it. Cancer. Go ahead. Hit some music.
I got it. Cancer.
Well, you're not doing it. You're not hitting music.
Yeah. See, I was gonna.
You're doing too many things right now, Pat.
I was gonna try and play Crazy again, but I can't remember where I put it.
Created by Patsy Cline.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go.
But just don't sing over it, and don't take that as like a challenge.
Okay, of course I will.
You leave me. I know you want to. Stop.
The clitoris, it's a mystery. You can never find it because they're different for everybody. What is it? What are you doing?
I'm just playing something else.
All right.
Anything else?
No, well, let's. Oh, no, we have two things. One, Patrick will not be joining me for Mystery Weekend.
Oh, yeah, I won't be going.
Murder Mystery Weekend in Langley, Washington. I will give you guys the update next week about it, but basically, my small town of Langley, Washington. I mean, we didn't even grow up in this. We grew up in a smaller town, Clinton. We had a food mart, that was it, and we had a Cozy's Roadhouse Bar and Grill.
They had the best pepperoni sticks.
Do they really?
They were really good. Yeah, they actually came like wrapped like in the deli section. So they were like the little individual pepperoni sticks. Me and Chris Lehman used to get them, and then we rent a video game on Nintendo.
You know what's funny about those pepperoni sticks? I think they were wrapped in cellophane, right? Like I think someone just dropped them off. Yeah. Like somebody who's just like...
Yeah, they were wrapped in cellophane. Like on a little piece of styrofoam, like a piece of steak, like a fresh steak.
Where the hell is that from? Like some guy's just like, it's elk jerky.
No, there's a dude in the back just chopping it up.
Just dicing up the sausages.
Yeah, dicing up
Only time I ever go to Food Mart is... Well, one, most of my friends are banned there when I was growing up from trying to shoplift and getting busted. Man, they were good at busting shoplifters. I guess it's because they needed to because it was such a small store. Food Mart was not like your main grocery. It wasn't like the Red Apple Market. It wasn't like, Publix or Ralph's.
Yeah, should I tell this story?
Yeah, well, you already started, so go ahead.
You
You stole something from somewhere. Where did you steal from, Pat?
I stole a pack of Salem cigarettes from menthols from Red Apple Market.
Damn! You know, okay,
yeah,
you finish your story and then I'll tell you mine.
They were laying on the ground, and in my kid head, I figured they're on the ground. Mm-hmm. That's fair game. Like, they were next to where the cigarettes were, but they were just laying on the ground. Like, they had fallen out. Because that was when you could literally pull a pack of cigarettes out of, like...
Yeah, they were... No, I know where they were.
You were in line.
Like not even in line. There was, like, a little...
Yeah, like display cases that
almost
had,
like a display case that just... You know what's funny?
Grab a pack of cigarettes, throw them in your cart. And there was one laying on the ground who I was like, it was already there. So I did, like... I think I did the shoe tie or something like that and shoved it in my sock. And then went out and was, like, so impressed
Was I with you?
Maybe.
Here's the funny thing. No, I wasn't. I think I was with Dad.
They were so gross.
Yeah.
They were so gross.
So here's what's funny about your story. Same grocery store, same strategy I had. Okay.
Did it work?
No, and I'll tell you why it didn't work. All right, so I walked by the cigarette case, this cigarette kiosk that you could literally just walk by. It was crazy. Like, I don't know why the hell we could just walk by these cigarettes.
I mean, that was also the time where, like, you'd go to a restaurant and they had the smoking and no smoking section, and the difference was, like, there was, like, a fan on the ceiling.
Yeah, and there's no difference.
Where it's, like, spreads it around. You're in a smoke-filled room.
I'm 18 feet away from the smokers. Thanks, guys. This is great. There's no wall.
There's nothing.
So, same grocery store, and here's why you stole menthols. Because the menthols were on the bottom shelf for some reason, because guess what I tried to do? I tried to steal cigarettes from Red Apple Market.
What'd you try and steal? Some of them fancy regulars?
So, no, I walked by, and this is a bad idea. This is where my whole plan blew up. I walked by it like 17 times because I was casing the joint. But the problem is you got to case the joint and then come back later at a later date. My casing the joint was a problem because I was casing the joint while in the store with Dad. So I'm casing the joint, going back and forth in front of this kiosk. And at one point in time, I'm like, okay, I got an idea. I got a plan to steal these cigarettes. So I walked by, and I grabbed a pack, and I pulled them out and dropped them on the floor. And I kept going. Got my getaway, right? Then I, like, looked back, and I was
like,
now I'm over in the deli section. I'm over in the deli section, and I'm looking back across, and I see him on the floor. And I wait like, a couple minutes, and Dad is like, you know, one, he's a man.
I wish we could get the security footage of this.
It would be really funny,
That would
right?
be hilarious.
So, I'm 13 years old. So, and I remember this. I was wearing purple jeans
Ocean's
with
11.
Doc Martens. That's how grunge I was, bro. Right. Purple jeans. So, I look back and I see it. And I'm like, you know what, Brian? You got to wait a couple minutes because a store clerk might see that and walk by and put those cigarettes back in the rack. Okay.
It just doesn't even make any sense.
Well, I just said now they're on the floor. The cigarettes are on the floor. Like
you
said.
That makes
like
sense.
you said you saw them on the floor. I had to put them on the floor.
So you knocked them over.
So I knocked them out.
Yeah,
and then I walked away, but I had to walk away to make
you
sure.
knocked them into no man's land, and now they're free cigarettes. Okay, I get you. I'm on board. I'm back on board.
Alley myself.
I get you.
Then I had to post up, and I had to wait, and I was just kind of chilling. Then I decided, all right, here's your time. You're going to go. And I did the exact same thing you did. Pretend like you're tying your shoe, shove them in your sock.
Yeah.
And I did that. But then, testament to me, because I didn't get caught, but I did, is I felt a tail. I could feel it. I could feel the tail on me. So I walked by. I was walking down. I took a right, went down towards like frozen meats in the back.
Yeah, sure.
Right? I took a hard right.
Frozen meats and popsicles.
Yeah,
gotcha.
all that stuff. The back wall is all those like, pre-sliced cheeses and stuff. And I'm walking, and I can feel it, man. I can feel it. Like I'm like, and this is back in the 90s it's back in the 90s when like they didn't have their cameras were just like mounted in one place. They didn't have good camera technology. Nowadays, I couldn't imagine trying to steal some stuff now. As a kid, these cameras will beam in on you and zoom in all high def.
Yeah, you're done.
4K.
You're done.
Sorry. So I can feel a tail on me, and I'm like, this is bad. So then I duck. I take a hard right down the cereal aisle, right? Because that's an aisle I should be in. I'm 13. Cereal's my jam.
Sure.
And I go to look for a bag, and I can feel the judgment from everybody. I feel it.
All right. What'd you do?
And I go and I drop the cigarettes behind the Captain Crunch. I drop it behind it. I'm hiding it. Because now I'm thinking like this. All right, Bri. Now I'm thinking, you know what you did? You moved cigarettes from rack to behind Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
And you felt the tail, ditched the goods, none the wiser.
I got you.
But that's just a feeling I had. A feeling. So then,
what happened?
Okay, here we go.
Come on. Come on.
I gotta paint the picture.
You're painting. Van Gogh. Let's go.
You're very...
Let's Van Gogh.
You know what?
With the story.
Oh, I thought about another thing that happened last night about that clit story.
All right. No.
I'm kidding.
No more clits.
Okay, so...
Jesus.
Then we're at the checkout register. And Dad comes over to me. And I'm like sweating bullets. Because I'm like, that was a close call. I'm like, thank God it was a close call.
Need a smoke?
And he goes, no. Dad comes up and he goes like, hey, Brian, this is going to be really uncomfortable. One of the clerks came up to me and told me that they think you stole a pack of cigarettes. And I'm like...
I think I remember hearing this, but I remember hearing the part of it once you got home where it's like, good for Brian.
I'm like, no, I didn't. And they're like, no, they think that you have it in your sock. And I'm like, I don't have it in my sock. And I like pull up my pant legs and I'm like, I don't have cigarettes. And the lady's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I accused you. Like, she's like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, you know what? Don't let it happen again. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it's behind the Captain Crunch. Oh my God. Because she literally saw me do the whole thing.
Oh my God. I bet if you, like, the next day, like, telling this story is, like, literally, like, a jailhouse story and be like, everyone's telling everyone else, like, behind the Captain Crunch, there's a pack of cigarettes.
Dude.
Just waiting to get picked up.
I almost now wonder if 20 years later, those cigarettes are still behind the Captain Crunch. Because I'm guessing Myers Red Apple Market has not flipped their cereal department recently.
I'm going to look next time I go there. I'll make an Instagram video about it.
All right, now we derailed ourselves on stealing. But I wanted to give you, let's get a cancer update.
I got in trouble once for stealing. And it was
let me know what happened.
Stealing from Jim's Hardware. And
you stole from Jim's Hardware?
I know, that's a mom
You
said.
monster.
That's what Mom said. I know.
So let me paint the picture.
I stole all this stuff to steal. See, this
Jim's
is how the
Hardware
difference between
looks like
our
a
two
garage.
stories. This is the difference between our two stories. I got in trouble for stealing once. I stole stuff from Jim's Hardware. It was stuff to make a pipe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's a story.
You're a douche.
That's a story.
You stole like I remember my mom going.
Brian's gonna paint the picture. Okay, so next to the nuts, there's the bolts, and then next to the bolts, there's screws and nails, and then there's the axe handles.
No,
but
bro,
the axe handles don't have the heads on it. You have to go down to aisle 7 to get the axe heads.
Well, bro, everybody knows the key
kid.
to stealing all the things for a pipe is you got to go to the sink department and get that screen.
That's what I had.
Get that screen.
Oh, I loved it every time we'd steal the screen out of the house. Mom and Dad were always just like,
so
where do these screens?
Like, where are our sink screens?
Where do the sink screens keep going?
I'm like, how do you guys know you're missing a sink screen? Who
Everybody
sticks
knows.
their finger in the nozzle?
I guess once you realize once you start paying for things, like as an adult, as a kid, you're like, they're just gonna be like, oh, the sync screen disappeared, and they'll never wonder about where it went. As an adult, you're like, no, sync screens don't disappear, dumbass.
Actually, you know what's funny?
Disappear.
You know what's really funny? Jessica, my girlfriend, gets on me for that all the time because I don't notice things, and nor do I care when something happens. Like,
I don't really either. So it's like I'm like, no sync screen.
Whatever, man.
I guess that's gone.
Like we had our friends' dogs over, and Moxie, my dog, started this, so it's not their dog's fault. It's not Diesel and Stella's fault. It's Moxie's fault. She started this. But sometimes Jessica, if she was like going to be gone for a long time, would put all the little dogs who were a little more incontinent than our big dog Leo in this little bathroom nook and put a gate, with water and food, but it's a pretty big nook, right? It's like going into the half bath on our main floor. And Moxie is a psychopath, my blind chihuahua. So she panics and freaks out, and she scrapes up the trim. Goes crazy, scrapes up the trim, right? So then I come home, and she's like, hey, I put Diesel and Stella and Moxie in the little thing. I come back, and Diesel and Stella now are like just grinding this trim. They're just teeth and nail. Like they don't want to be in there for whatever reason. And in this little nook. And I come home, I'm like, what's up, guys? Let them out. And Jess goes, they made it so much worse. And I'm like, it's got to get replaced anyway. What the hell do I care? She's like, they're getting into the drywall. And I'm like, I'm going to replace the drywall. She's like, why aren't you upset? And I'm like, because I just don't care.
Yeah.
I just,
Cool story.
Why are you not in?
I don't know.
You're being a bad teammate right now. You should be, listen.
I thought that was going somewhere else. Well,
it's just that I don't care about stuff like that. And you agreed, but then it's like you checked out in the middle of that.
I agreed, but I was agreeing with like things that are like, that's an obvious thing where you got to replace that. You got to replace the trim. I'd be pissed.
Eventually, I will get to it.
Yeah.
Oh, can I side note this?
Yeah, sure.
I bought, maybe I shouldn't say this because people listening, I got a bunch of snitches in my neighborhood, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because if you've hung in there this far, like you're dedicated to snitching.
Oh, God.
Nah, man, I'm tired of this HOA harassing me. I've already busted their asses in with their lawyers, and I've got a lawyer, and I'm building the case.
Damn it. This pisses me off because I'm trying to shoot a short film at your house, and I feel
don't worry. I'm building the case. Right? It's a long-term case. You can shoot the short film in June. We're fine. This is like a slow play. So I had all these security cameras hidden and installed this week because I want to catch these scumbags coming to my house they come to my house every day and look at my house for something to find me for, and I'm done with that nonsense. So I want to see the face of these morons when they're looking at my house. When am I going to find Brian Ford today? Because they don't like me. But guess what, fools? I'm snapping pictures right now, Doug.
What does your lawyer say this is going to accomplish?
Well, one, if you listen, and thank you for listening.
What are you going to use this for?
Oh, harassment. I have them on record harassing me.
Yeah.
They harassed me about a thing that they were wrong about, and I beat them and with their lawyers, and they said, "Oh, we're sorry. Yeah, you're right. He shouldn't have been doing that." Oh, okay. He shouldn't have been doing that. So this dude was harassing.
The president shouldn't have been doing
the HOA president should not have. The lawyers said,
"What's his name? Doug."
Doug. Of course, it's a Doug. And by the way, Doug, if you're listening, which I'm sure you
he
are,
doesn't need to dig. He doesn't need to dig his own grave because it's already been dug.
Oh, damn, Doug. Listen, actually, you know what's funny? I don't even care if Doug's listening because if Doug's listening, good. Next time you come stand in front of my house,
Doug's not listening.
He's not.
I hope Doug doesn't.
But there is a snitch amongst us. There is a snitch somewhere because every time I do something, someone tells them and tells the HOA, and the HOA you send me a cease and desist about some nonsense. Can't throw fundraisers anymore. That's why we're not going to tell them.
I'll tell you what, snitches don't get hugs.
That's why we're not going to tell them.
They don't get hugs. They don't
make
friends.
That's why we're not going to tell anybody we're shooting a short film. Or no, a feature film.
No, short film.
Oh, short. Can we make it long? Let's make
no,
it
no. It'll be really quick.
No, make it a long film.
I'm really not trying to make this a big deal. See, this is once again, Brian thrives in chaos. I fold and wilt.
This is where I flourish, Pat. So anyways, I'm installing security cameras because I want to catch these fools because I know they're harassing me. I know they come to my house every day. The neighborhood is in shambles, and they find me for everything. And I'm done with it.
Neighborhood's in shambles.
I mean, in terms of my house is impeccable. I bought a pressure washer. I pressure washed everything. It's spick and span.
All right. What else we got? Because we're at the end here.
Cancer update.
Cancer update? What do you mean a cancer?
Like, where you at? What's up?
I feel nauseous every morning when I wake up.
Okay. And we noticed that your hair was thinning on the sides.
Oh, that's what you wanted to bug me about.
I didn't want to bug you about it. I wanted you to acknowledge that the chemotherapy had gotten to your hair because a lot of people were saying, like, well, Pat doesn't look like anything's happening to him.
Yeah, I was at where was I? I was at the gym and I took my hat off the other day. And, I took my hat off the other day.
I won't sing. I won't sing this time.
Not during my... Finally got it. So... I was at the gym and I took my hat off and I ran my fingers through my hair and it was all stuck together. My hair hasn't been very healthy. Like, chemo doesn't make your hair healthy.
We come from a non-healthy hair family.
Sure, yeah.
Like, mine's like half gray.
I looked at a picture of when I was a kid. I don't think I've really lost much room since I was...
I think we've all had like a pretty...
I've had a big five... We're five-head guys.
We got a big-ass forehead.
Yeah, we're five-head guys.
Big forehead family.
So, but here's the thing, is that I, like, ran my fingers through my hair and it's not like my, like, clumps of hair fell out, but I mean... It was a lot.
It's definitely thinner on the sides.
Yeah.
It looks like splotch on the sides. And I've only noticed it today because you've been good about wearing beanies and stuff. But it was funny with people were like, Pat looks great for doing chemotherapy. Almost like this weird judgment, like, doesn't look like anyone I've seen who's done chemo. Like, you guys did a movie about Pat's penis and that was fake. Was this fake?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just joking.
I mean, it's a pretty expensive documentary to fake, Pat.
Gotcha, punks.
So what's next for chemo? So you got a rest.
I'm done.
You canceled the
done,
in terms of like the recovery and like hold on. So you canceled the murder mystery weekend.
Murder mystery weekend.
Mainly, you know what? I thought this was pretty cool too. You got auditions next week, and you got to get back into real life, dude. Today, how'd it go? What was it for? Run it right now.
Well, no, it was for a cable company. Like a Midwest cable company, something.
Oh God!
I don't want to talk about the specifics.
Would you just want to throw? Would they go like, "Yeah, sit on the couch and yell at your wife to get a sandwich and throw a beer across the room"?
We were remodeling our house.
Whoa!
I was DIY guy.
Oh, DIY Pat!
I'm wearing the same stuff.
Oh my God! You look DIY right now.
Thank you.
You look Pat the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah, like DIY in over his head guy.
Like I think I can do this, but
you know what? I pretty much nail in over his head guy in all genres.
In life.
Yes.
You know, your head guy in life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for when it comes to finding the clit.
Yeah, you did it. You broke your own rule. So what is next for you in the screenings and where are we at now?
Well, so where we're at now is that I need to make an appointment to get a CAT scan to make sure that there's no new spots that they're worried about.
When do you have to do that?
That would be the biggest concern. That'll probably be sometime in March.
Okay. All right. Well, March
so
it is.
In like a month. And then I need to get another colonoscopy.
I need to get another one too.
Yeah, you do. I'm actually talking to a guy this week who does,
he does a 2-for-1
virtual colonoscopy.
What does that mean?
So they do it with a 3D scanner, and you don't have to have anything shoved up your butt.
Can we do that?
Maybe.
Oh my God! I'm ask him if we do a 2-for-1.
I'll let you know. Then we can get. Well, I don't really.
We get a Groupon for it?
I don't mind somebody putting a camera in my butt, Brian.
Well, then you do that one. I'll do the virtual one.
Need the footage for the doc.
All right, get that footage. I would like the virtual one. Just scan me.
Yeah.
Scan me.
All right.
And so March 24th, we are walking the LA Marathon. Pat, how do they fundraise?
Yeah, we need to start fundraising. We need to start putting that out.
Put the link up in the
We'll put the link out this week.
In the post.
We have about a month before we do it.
All right.
You hold that microphone off the ground until we get finished, because otherwise, if you set it down, it's going to make a noise. Stop. You're hitting the couch. You're making this sound unprofessional. You're making this sound unprofessional.
You muted me? You muted you.
The buttons are not working.
You muted you, dummy.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.